Okay, let's get to it. In this video, I'm going to discuss my decision to take a break from the Full-Time Flex Bootcamp and what steps I'm taking to continue my learning process. Here we go. If you'll see my last video, which I will link somewhere on the screen or down in the description below, I discussed the results of my quiz app and my mock interview. Spoiler alert, I did not pass either on 2 attempts, even though I did come close on both attempts. My biggest issue is with the quiz app, and with the help of my mentor and the use of the Q&A sessions, I am still unable to resolve the issue that I'm having with my quiz app. This means that my code for the app was not great. It was okay. In my opinion, it was pretty good for a beginner, but not great. I went on to writing the app knowing it wasn't going to be great since it's my first attempt at writing any code. The Thinkful Full Time Flex program states if you're unable to pass a mock interview and receive a passing score on your quiz app on 2 attempts, you have to have a discussion with your program manager to discuss your future steps. Well, I had that discussion with my program manager. And after that discussion, I decided to take a break. I decided about 1 to 3 months would be a good enough time to take a break and also continue my learning. So just because I'm taking a break from the program, it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily taking a break from learning. My program manager recommended a course named the Odin Project. And prior to having that infamous discussion with my program manager, I started to use teamtreehouse.com. I tried the 7-day trial of Treehouse to help me better understand JavaScript, primarily to fix the issues I was having with my quiz app. In a previous video, I spoke about having to use outside learning to supplement my learning with Thinkful's Full-Time Flex program, since just reading the material they provide wasn't the best method that suited my learning style. I got a better understanding of JavaScript during the 7-day trial, so I decided to sign up for a monthly subscription. I'll put a link to Team Treehouse in the bottom below. So I just like learning the program, so I'm a monthly subscriber. So let me start off with the Odin Project. The Odin Project is a free program. Yep, free. And it's a great program for beginners who have no experience with coding whatsoever. And it is similar to Thinkful's Full-Time Flex program. Even though it's similar, there are a lot of differences, and the differences come in how the program is structured, and most importantly, in my opinion, the detailed instructions about the basics. I would also put a link in the description to the Odin Project down below. The program starts off with Git, command line basics, and GitHub. You're introduced to using terminal, command prompt, or you have an option to use Linux. The instructions walk you through ensuring Git is installed on your device, which it is common for Git to be on most devices. You set up Ruby on Rails and host your first website on Heroku. And that was a learning experience. Here's how that went down. So let's go through the process of installing the Rails application on my laptop via the command line. And let's go. First step is installing this code. I'm now checking the version. So the next step is installing Homebrew. Odin says the Homebrew makes it easy to install other programs we will need. So now that that's finished installing, the next is installing Git and Heroku. Git is one of the most powerful tools in your tool belt. Git tracks changes in the code, allows collaboration, and many other things. Not to worry, you'll learn more about this soon. This is reading from the Odin website. All right, so installing Git and Heroku, and let's get started. First step is updating Git because I have a Mac and it says that Mac comes with a version of Git. Now I am installing Heroku. What Heroku is a free website that can host the Ruby on Rails application. And once this is finished, the next step is going to be installing Ruby. So those which commands, which RVM, which rem, it was to check to see if I already had a version of Ruby Manager already installed. If I didn't receive a certain line item, means I did not. So I had to, then I was allowed to go on and install or run the command line to install the Ruby version manager. So something was not found. So I'm following. It says, please run not found. Okay, so we hit a snag right here. Okay, there it is. Now it's okay. And I see my mistake. FBev instead of RenBev. Now I can move on. Everything's working, it's fine. Everything's working as it should. Now I get to install Ruby. And I'll just wait for it to download. According to Odin project, this should take about 10 to 15 minutes. So obviously we are not going to sit here for 10 to 15 minutes. Let's hope my computer can go a little faster than that. But we'll pick up once this thing catches back up. Okay, so that did not take 10 to 15 minutes, but anyway, it's finished. It took about 3 minutes, and we'll continue where we left off. So next step is to make sure that we're using the newest version of Ruby by default. And okay, so we are. And after, now that we install these programs, we get to do our first test app, so to speak. So the first thing is tell Git who you are. So the next step is to create a GitHub account. I already have a GitHub account, so I don't have to worry about creating one. So after, if you don't have one, you create one. Next step is create an SSH key, which is described as a cryptographical secure identifier. And there's a way to check, see if you already have one installed. This command line. Check to see if you have one. Nope, it's not on file. So creates a key. I follow the instructions from Odin. You don't have to put in the passphrase. If it's your computer, you don't want to, you don't have to. If you want to, you can, but it's entirely up to you. So now we have to add the key to the authentication agent. Okay, so I added the identity. So now I have to link the SSH key with GitHub. So here's my GitHub page. And so let's link it. So the next thing is installing the Ruby on Rails bundler. So let's get rid of this web page. I added a SSH key to GitHub account. The second one, because I recorded this as a template or just to show, because I did one on my actual desktop and I was doing one, and now I'm doing this on my laptop. So wait a while for this to run. It even tells you building native extensions. This could take a while. So once we install Rails, we have to now install the bundler. And yep, gem install Rails was my last command. So the next one is install the bundler. So the bundler is done. So now we're going to create a directory for our projects. So make directory, and the book or the website gives this as an example. So I'll stick with theirs. You can name whatever you like. So make directory Odin on Rails. I have to change directory to Odin on Rails. So we're going to create our first app, our first Rails app. So let's create. So generate some scaffolding. And Odin says scaffolding is basically a template for a Rails app. Sets up working parts. So you generate the scaffolding. Next is to migrate database. All right, so let's run the real server to see if it works. Okay, so it says Rails aborted. So something didn't work. It's aborted because I probably didn't spell it right. The next thing that it instructs you to do is to, let me bring this over here, gives you and there it is. And you can create a new car. Let's make a Ford Mustang 2018. Car was successfully created. If I go back, it's there, and I can add more. Make a Jeep, Wrangler car. If I go back, oh, there's it both in there. I can destroy, show, or edit them, and there it is. So back here, server's running. If you refresh the page, make sure everything is working. Yeah, still working. So how do you end the application? Control C. So the end of the application. The next step is initializing Git and pushing GitHub. The jump file lock in here. Okay. The next step is hooking up our local repository to the remote repository. It requires me to go into GitHub. Go back to GitHub. So let's do that. So new repository. So I'll make this call. I'll call this one another Rails app. I'm going to create a repository. All right, so something can be established. So the next step is to create a Heroku website. I already have one. So since I already have a Heroku website, because now I'm just trying to push this thing to a very same car app to be displayed on the internet. So the key is added. So now to create the Heroku application. Peaceful Mountain. So that seems to be the website right here. So we have to go into VS Code to make some modifications. So the instruction says there should be a tree view of your app on the left side of the screen. Open gem file. Not as quite as they're explaining, but I got to it. So I have to delete this line and put save that. Everything is saved. Go back to terminal. You have to install yet another bundle. Alright, so this is go back to goes back to VS Code and expand config folder. Yeah. Okay, so to continue, I discovered where my issue was. All right, I'm looking at the routers, that RB file and the config file, and I discovered that the word cars hashtag index is incorrect. In the program, in the Odin project, this word is supposed to be index, and I realized this is where I made my mistake. So I'm going to make this change. I can't highlight it, but okay, here it is. This is supposed to be index, text wrangler. I guess if I change it there, that'll make the correction. Make any changes. I did all my changes in Visual Studio Code, so I'm going to open this in Visual Studio Code and make the change. Index, that's what it's supposed to be. Save it, and I will close this out. So there's the change. So going back to my terminal command, I'm on my MacBook Pro. I know that I have to be in my So I changed the directory. So I'm going to pick up where we left off and try to make sure that it works. So I'm getting these commands from the Odin project. Okay, so then we have to migrate the database. Okay, so now, see, I go to the local host, open up a Google window, go and see if I can. All right, cannot be reached. So something is wrong somewhere again. Okay, no sucks files. Okay. Now let's try to run those commands again. I didn't check to see if I was okay. So I go through generate the scaffold, and migrate the database. There it is. On a real server. Now let's try this again. Ah, there we go. And it even has the cards that I made before. So, but I'm seeing it on my local computer from my local files. Now we got to continue the steps to basically post it to the internet. So, was it Control C to stop? Control C. So now we're gonna push it to GitHub. First, we verify. So, following the instructions. All right, I should be in. This should be the file. This is where I need to be. It says I can type ls to make sure I see a gemlock file. So I typed in ls gemlock file here. So now I'm going to initiate Git. I got to commit them to Git. So space /m. Okay, I don't have to commit. I have nothing to commit. So everything's working as expected. So this is where I had to create a Heroku account. I already got one. The next command is I have to run this line of code here. I gotta enter my password. So that's running. I gotta add my SSH key to Heroku once that gets finished. So for me to do that is, so I like to upload it. Yes. Enter. Done. So we are gonna. So I created my Heroku. So I have to configure the gem file. All right. So Odin, the Odin project's telling me I have to configure the gem file and go through some steps that I already went through. So I'm not going to do it again because those steps were to open up Visual Studio Code and open up certain folders and change what I've changed. So when I change the config file in the routers.rb file, that's where I am in the instruction phase now, and I don't need to change them because now they're correct. So now I'm going to just skip that to install the bundle. Bundle complete. 19, yeah. Okay, so everything's looking good. So now I can add these changes to Git. Okay, apparently that's already been done. Let me push it to Git. Enter phrase. So when I did this the first time, I was given a website where my program would run. All right, well, I have that website saved, or the return from what pushing Heroku master return, but we'll see. I will just continue to follow through the instructions. So Heroku, run Rails, DB, migrate. It's connecting. It's running. I guess it's going to take some time. There we go. All right, so now that's running. I open a Roku, and this is what was returned. Let's see what happens. There it is. Now pay attention to the website, HTTP. So now this is on the World Wide Web. This is not running from, I'm using my computer to host it, but this is through the internet, and I can make changes. It didn't bring up what I had on my local host, but let's say I added a Ford Mustang GT 2016, great car, and there it is, and it's in there. Let's add another car. Oh, make, model. Oh, okay. Misread it. So the make is Jaguar. Model is, I was wondering if I can type. 2018. A great car. So as you can see, now it's working. It's hosted from the website. Actually, if you want to try this website yourself, so there, now it's working, and it all goes back to it all goes back to paying attention to detail. I'll stop the video here and get back on with the rest of the review. The front end portion obviously covers HTML and CSS, and it also covers the developer tools. Thinkful Full Time Flex cover these same topics, but not in as much detail as the Odin project does. The course on developer tools was very enlightening. The Odin project sends you to a Google link to learn the developer tools, and I wish I learned that the first time around when I was with Thinkful. I almost skipped over the developer tools because I didn't know it could do so much, and I learned so much more about it than I did in the full-time flex program. The hands-on exercises with the command line and developer tools was very helpful. The Odin project sends you to several outside links and sources to learn from, but those links allow users to get great hands-on experience by practicing over and over, which is very helpful to beginners. Doing and not seeing, I think, for beginners is very beneficial. So I made it to the HTML CSS project, which is using the terminal, since I'm using a Mac, to create a new directory to design a lookalike web page. It's going to look like Google's homepage, and the instructions also want you to put it on your GitHub account. During the beginning phases of the course, you have to create a GitHub account. This encompasses using the command line, text editor, GitHub, and file management. I'll let you know how that goes when I'm done. Well, when I complete it. The next video that I'm going to post on this channel might take some time since I'm entering the busy season with my job. So if you like the video, please smash that like button. And if you're interested in my web development journey, consider subscribing to my channel. If you have any questions about what I covered in this video, about the Odin project or what I'm doing in Team Treehouse, you can drop a comment down in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Until next time, I'm out.